Yeah. Hey. Young Money. Trigger Trey.
What's up, y'all? So yes, I'm back with another video. If y'all haven't seen the relationship advice video, go check that out. I just gave y'all a little relationship advice. And I just said, why not just throw y'all a story time? You feel me? Just throw it to y'all. So, this is a story time of how I almost got kidnapped. And it's just really crazy. It really is. And y'all wouldn't even believe this. So, yes. Before I get started, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, press that post notification bell, and let me know what videos you guys like to see. Follow my social medias, and keep showing me love, and let's get on to the video. I think it's this way, or that way. Or I think it's this way. I think it's that way. Yeah, okay. So, how I almost got kidnapped. Before I get started, make sure y'all get your popcorn, get your drinks, make sure y'all lay down, relax, cause it's finna get interesting. Y'all gonna be like, how? It's finna get interesting. Okay, so how I almost got kidnapped, and y'all, it's just so crazy. I can't believe I'm saying this. Okay, so I went into the emergency room. Yes, and y'all probably like, at the emergency room? Yes, the emergency room. So I went into the emergency room because I was having like bad like side pains, and I'm like, and I gotta go get that checked out. Hold on. Okay, so I went inside the emergency room, and how did it go? Okay, so I went in there, got checked in. They searching my bag and whatever. I'm getting, you know, checked in and whatever. So I sit down and sign in. I sit down waiting for them to call me. So I see it's like crowded and this coronavirus going on. So I'm like, it's too many people in here. So, and y'all can say, but I cannot sit for a long period of time. I have to move around. So I'm just sitting there like, I just got here, so let me just calm down. Let me just calm it. So I had to just get on my phone, get something to occupy me, everything. And I'm sitting there. It's about dang near an hour. I'm like, no, this we not finna do. We not finna do this. We not. So I go up to the front desk and I'm like, okay, when is this gonna be my time to get in the back? So anywho, so I literally went up to the front desk. And I was like, okay, so do you know when I'm going to be seen in the back? And they like, we have no idea. The doctors, I think they said they was on lunch break. I'm like, bro. And I'm just not just me. I'm looking at all these people that's in the lobby waiting to be seen. Because it was this one lady, she was sitting next to me and she was in so much pain. I feel bad for her. She was crying. I'm like, oh my God. Like, she was really sitting there crying. So I'm like, on lunch break. I'm like, nah, they tripping, because y'all got people sitting here in pain and y'all on some lunch break. So that's when I'm getting mad and heated, because why y'all on lunch break and y'all have patients that's really in pain that need to be seen? Like, come on now. So she was like, sorry, but they're on lunch break, so you know, you're just gonna have to wait it out. So I had to get away from her desk, because I was really finna flip her computer, because I'm like, what are you saying to me? Y'all on lunch break. So that's when I had to walk away, because the devil was like building up inside of me, and your girl don't need to be in no jail. So that's when I walked back and sat back down. And I'm just heated, legs shaking and everything, going 100 miles per hour. I'm like, bro. Bro. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Y'all on lunch break and come on now. So, that's when I finally decided to leave. Because I'm like, at this point, I'm finna go somewhere else. Because I'm in so much pain. My side is, like, hurting me. I'm to the point, like, I can't do this. I can't sit. I'm in pain. Like, my side was killing me. So, I walk out. And here is the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. Y'all better get ready because I'm going to tell y'all. So, outside the hospital, it's like a bench you can wait for your ride. And you know, it was too many people in the emergency room. And it's coronavirus going on. So, I'm like, I'm not going to catch coronavirus because, you know, it's too many people in here. So, they need to get this under control. So, at this point, I decided to remove myself because that's how so much people was in that emergency room. So I removed myself because I'm like, okay, I'm about to go somewhere else. So I go outside the hospital, sit on the bench. I'm like looking down, y'all. I got my phone just looking down like this. And I don't know what I was thinking because I never knew it really could happen. So I'm got my phone down, looking down, texting my mama like, hey, can you come get me? I need to go to another hospital. Just looking down like this, y'all. Just looking down. So as I'm looking down like this, it's a car that pulled up. So I'm like, okay, he probably just, you know, looking for somebody. He probably just looking for somebody. So as I'm looking at my phone, texting my dudes and whatever, I look up, he rolled his window down. He was an old man. And he was like, I'm trying to remember what he said. Dang, y'all, I cannot remember what he said. No, that's the thing. I really couldn't understand what he was saying. So I'm like, what? Because I'm already irritated. Sitting down, irritated. Like, I'm not in the mood. And then somebody just pull up at the side of me and start talking to me. So he was talking, I really couldn't hear him. So I'm like, what? I'm like, what? So that's when he's just smiling and cheesing and just talking. And that's not like ignoring him because I'm like, at this point, you're not even saying nothing. So I ignore him. So once I ignored him, I'm like, no, there's got to be some weird stuff going on. It really do. So I look back up. He talking about some, you need a ride, just staring at me and stuff. So I'm just like, okay. So I figured he was on some weird shit. Like, ooh, excuse my language, but I figured like he was on some weird stuff. So that's when I got up, walked away from him while he talking. Because my dumb self, I should never been talking to him from the jump. And you know, I thought he was just like asking a question like, you know, where the entrance at to the emergency room. You know you gotta help your elderly people. But he wasn't that old. He was like about in his 35s or 40s. So that's when I got up and walked away while he was still talking because I knew he was on some weird stuff. So as I'm walking, he's literally right up beside me trying to talk to me. So I went inside the emergency room, stood by the door. He would not leave. Y'all probably think like, what? He will not leave. I'm standing by the door. Got away from him. He will not leave. Just staring at me, just snarling. And y'all probably think I'm BSing, but he was smiling. I'm not even playing. Just staring at me, just smiling. So at this point, that's when I decided to go completely into the emergency room. Like when I first went in there, when they checked my purse, I went back in there. I'm like, the security guard was like, you back? Wait, did he ask me that? I'm trying to think. No. Oh yeah, he did. He was like, you back? I'm like, there's somebody in y'all parking lot that's being weird. And I think he's trying to sex traffic people. Like, y'all need to go look into that. So I went back in there. And you know, they had like the chairs near the window type stuff. So I sat next to the window where the chairs was. And cause you know, the other seats where I was seated, it was too many people over there and they was already taken up. So it wasn't no other option for me to sit. So I had to sit next to the window. So as I'm sitting waiting for my dukes and my peoples to pull up to get me, I'm like sitting near the window and I'm like peeping. He's riding around non-stop. Not once, but twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you call it, you know. And he's like, I'm peeping him right around once. I'm thinking he's looking for somebody. So I'm like, okay. So the one time he rode around, I'm like, okay, I'm tripping. Then I look out the window the second time, and he's like literally looking for me. And it's crazy because he's looking for me. And he will not stop riding around. So at this point, I'm taking pictures. I'm like, no. I'm finna take these pictures. I'm finna get my evidence. Okay, and I was so scared, y'all. I was about to cry. I was laying there about to cry. Cause I'm like, oh my God, I'm finna get kidnapped. Oh my God. Like, no. And mind you, nobody was with me. Nobody was with me. I went to the emergency room by myself. So at this point, I'm panicking. I'm calling my boyfriend. I'm like, I'm like, man, I swear to God, somebody trying to, no, y'all, let me rephrase. So I'm calling my boyfriend. I'm like, babe, I swear to God, somebody trying to kidnap me. This man just keep riding around. He talking some what? He talking some what? Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, man, I swear to God, he really some man trying to get me. I swear I'm not playing. I put that on my soul. I put that on everything I love, my 2 dead brothers, everything. This man trying to get me, and he would not stop riding around. Like, it was bothering me. So as I'm talking to him, the phone had got disconnected or whatever. So I'm seated. He pulled up to the glass and just sitting there, just looking. At this point, I'm just shaking. I'm calling people. I'm like, bro, somebody needs to help me right now. I'm like, please. So, y'all probably like, did the security guard do nothing? No, he did not. He only went outside, stood, and went back in there. And I just told him it's a man riding around trying to get people. And that's all. So, I'm panicking or whatever. And I peeped so many times he was riding around that parking lot. Kept coming to the glass, smiling. Just staring at me, smiling. And I'm just crying. I'm crying. I'm like, this have to be a joke. And no telling, if I would never lift my head up, no telling what could have happened. If nobody was never around in that parking area, because you know it was like so many people, because it's a hospital. But I'm saying if nobody wasn't outside, no telling what could have happened. Just from that. And ever since then, I never been on my phone in public. Because I never knew you could got at the hospital. Like, come on now, he going to hell for that. Because why you at a hospital trying to sex traffic people and kidnap people? You weird as heck. It's people are already coming there with issues and problems. And mind y'all, I'm in pain already. Then I'm irritated on top of that. And then this situation. So I'm like, he going to hell for that. Because you at a hospital trying to get somebody, knowing they got problems going on. You shouldn't be in the hospital. And I was mad about that. I called the news, everything. The news wouldn't even hear me out. To this day, they literally ignored my story. But it's cool. It's cool. Because they always want to wait until something happens to somebody. Then they want to take stuff to another level. But that was from God. He literally sent me a signal. He protected me. And he gave me a chance. And thank the Lord, it wasn't nothing else bigger than it was. Okay? Because just from that second. So my mama pull up. Because everybody was like, why would you leave out the emergency room? Why would you leave out the emergency room? I'm like, bro, it's COVID. Like, what is you talking about? It was too many people in there. It's COVID. And I never knew that you can get got at a hospital. That's why I'm like, what? It wasn't making sense to me. Like, why would somebody be up at a hospital trying to get somebody? So that's the thing, y'all. They be trying to get y'all in them little parking lots or whatever. So y'all better be careful. Y'all better carry your and your and your spray, your pepper spray. You better look. Y'all better stay protected because this is crazy. It really is. So yeah, y'all, that's what happened. I was just crying. I was just thanking God that he protected me at that moment, because I would not know what I would have did. For real. So he protected me at that moment. For real. And I was just so devastated. I cried. I was traumatized. I'm like, no. And at that point, I never wanted to go to the hospital by myself, because I never knew you can get God at the hospital. So, yes. That's just the end of this story time. I'm blessed. Nothing else didn't happen. And that's the crazy story of what I experienced while in pain. So y'all, this gonna wrap up the story time, because that's about it. It's just crazy. And he was looking weird and creepy and old and all types of stuff. I'm like, because at first I'm like, okay, maybe he needs some help. Maybe he needs to see, like, what the emergency room at. And he was just smiling at me. Hey, beautiful girl. Hey, beautiful girl. Hey, beautiful girl. You want to get in my car? You want to ride? You want to get in my car? And at that point, I walked away. And it got me, because once I walked away, he was really, like, following. My heart racing. I ain't finna, like, pass out type shit. I'm finna pass out. Because as I'm turning around when he's talking, he's riding he's riding while I'm walking. So he's riding along with me. And my heart is, like, pounding. I'm like, oh my God, he's finna get me. He's finna get me. I swear, like, everybody was looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl? I'm like, no, bro. Somebody trying to get me. So, yes, y'all. That's about it. I'm gonna just stop running my mouth. It's just crazy because I wanted y'all to hear this. So this gonna wrap up the story time, and this it. And I will no longer be going nowhere by myself, because this is a crazy world. Not only this is the only situation that happened to me, it's about a couple of times somebody that tried to get me. So your girl will not be out by herself no more. Okay, if I'm not with nobody else, I'm not going. Simple. So I learned my lesson. I really do. So y'all, this wraps up the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Turn on post notification bell. And comment down. #EraGang. And follow me on social medias. And that's gonna be it. So see y'all.
CH, cause that's what you gon' call me when I'm trippin' anyway. You know you can't control me, baby. You need a real one in your life. The bitches